Alrighty, so continuing on question 16. So, in that every is per? Didn't we put an x on that? We did. Doesn't that mean 2x? There's my 2x. And that plus 15, doesn't add mean plus? It does. There's my 15. By the way, he wrote it backwards for us. That's kind of nice of him. Can't you type that in the calculator and see what happens? Well, type that in and see which one of those pictures match. Now, real quick, wouldn't this be, I don't know, the b on the y-axis? Is this 15? Yes, it is. So this one's at least okay. Is this 15? No. Wrong. And I can test these tables even without a calculator. So real quick, stick in a 4. What's 2 times 4 plus 15? By the way, when you get done, did you get 8? Because see, that 4 is x. 2 times 4, 8, is 8 plus 15, 8. Never mind. You don't have to type all this in. What about 1? What's 2 times 1? 2. What's 2 plus 15? 17. Hey, I like that one. I like this part either way. Try again. 4. What's 2 times 4? 8. What's 8 plus 15? Is 8 plus 15, 68. You know, I changed my mind. I don't like that one. But 2 times 1 was 2, and 2 plus 15 is 17, but not the second piece. That one's wrong, so that one's out. I think we're going to have to pick G. And yeah, I would type it in the calculator and definitely look at that graph, but I'm confident it works. Next. Question 17. Dilation. What do you know about dilation? Some of you tell me from big to little. Could it be little to big? Sure it could. Wouldn't that be the eyes dilating? What do we say about that D? Wouldn't that divide and multiply? And you divide, it gets it smaller, and if you multiply, it makes it bigger. True. And if you multiply by greater than 1, what happens? It gets bigger. By the way, do you think they divide? No. And if you multiply by less than 1, it gets smaller. Now, we're pretty weak on this topic. We're not doing a very good job of looking at how to pick good questions. And sometimes we're just picking terrible answers. So let's kind of play with what's going on. And which one is old? You've got K versus K prime. The boring one is old. This fancy one is new. Look at K. Is this a little picture? Look at K prime. Is that a big picture? So you're going to go from this picture is the old one. So there's the old one. What's the new one doing? Remember, that's old. Looks like the new one is getting bigger. So we're doing this one. We're getting bigger. And some of you are picking smaller, and you shouldn't miss those mistakes. So let's look at our answer choices. What does that say? What does add say? I think that says translation. Do you see the word translation in that question? I see dilation. If that's D for divide and multiply, then you better not be picking add. The end. What is that? I think that's translation. Does D have a plus sign? No, it doesn't. That's divide and multiply. That's an add. Don't pick it. A bunch of you did. Next. What happens when you multiply by half? You should know your fractions. What is half? Is it more than 1 or less than 1? Half is less than $1. What is 7/4? More than $1. Do you want this thing to get bigger or smaller? Go look. Here's the old one, and this is what I want it to do. You're making it bigger. Do you multiply by half? Or do you multiply by 7/4? Which one makes it bigger? Well, here's a hint. Use that word there. Answer is D. We don't pick adding for dilation. Period. Alrighty, I'm on question 18. You've got a gym charging a membership fee. Hey, I think that word right there. And a plus sign. Where are we at? What are we doing? I think this is y equals mx plus b. Which one is the fee? That's the fee, because that's the slope, and that's the cost of 1. And y is the total, in case you're wondering. So a gym member charges a fee plus an additional fee per yoga class. So the table shows the linear relationship between the yoga classes taken and the total cost, including the membership fee, whatever all that craziness was. Could you just type this in the calculator? Where would you type that in the calculator? Probably not in Y1 because that ain't going to fit. Why don't we go to list 1, list 2? I've already pre-typed mine in because I'm fast. So there it is. Yay, now what? I think this is linear. So now you're going to have to do lin reg list 1, list 2, Y1. How do you know when to do that? Do you have 2 lists? That's probably when you do that. Is this in list 1? Is this in list 2? That's a pretty good hint. Pretty good hint. I think that's a really good hint. So there's my list. I'm going to go back to stat, calculate, 4, and then what? List 1, comma, list 2, comma. Where was Y1? Vars, Y vars, function, and there it is. We better remember that again. Again, it was stat, calculate, 4, then list 1, comma, list 2, comma, and where is that Y equals button at? Doesn't the vars look like a Y except the half of it's missing? So push that button. There's the Y button, and it's a function. We've heard that word before. There it is. Ta-da! Push enter. And go to the Y equals button and just grab that equation. So 3.75x plus 45. 3.75x plus 45. Now, that's the answer, but you got to start matching it over here. So what does this all mean? Wouldn't this be the fee? Isn't this the cost for one something? An additional fee per yoga class is $375. But here's the catch. You're thinking, hey, that's a fee. Do you see that word per? Yeah, put an X there. An additional fee per yoga class is $825. I'm going to put the X here. Do you have an $825 over here? Okay, I know that's wrong. Never mind. You do have a $375. You're thinking the $45 is the fee. It is for the other class. See how they put fee and per together? Sneaky. Next, the membership fee is $35. You don't have a $35. The membership fee is $42.50. You don't have a $42.50 either. You're probably going to pick F, and you're awfully lucky they didn't put 45 here. Somebody does love you. Next. Alrighty, question 19. MAD, which was like a long time ago. And I know, not one of us remember. I was worried I didn't remember either. So I took the time and I wrote MAD out. Make a list, a lot of numbers, dumb formula. It's that Sal minus your X mean teacher, close the door, divide by the number of Dr. Pepper she drank. Yeah, I remember. And so, now, look at this data really quick. How close are these numbers? They're pretty close, within 20 points. You don't see like 5,000 sitting up here. These numbers are pretty close in space. Now, I can tell you, if these numbers are within 30 points, pick a score that's less than 10. I can just tell you the short version of that. If these things are within 30 points, pick a number less than 10. What if they're all less than 10? Then you better know how to do this. Look at these answer choices. How many are less than 10? 1. Answer C. If these numbers are within 30 points, pick a number less than 10. There was 1 to pick from right there. So let's see if we can remember how to do this. All right. So I went to Stat, Edit, and I typed all the numbers in all ready for us. Next, you're going to go back to Stats where you start. Go to Calculate. One variable statistics. Yep, that's where we got mad. Push that button and push Enter. There's where a lot of numbers come into play. Now, I can tell you about this list of numbers. All of these numbers are wrong if they're on the answer choices. None of these numbers are mad. So you see that 66.5? If there's a 66.5, you need to get rid of that number because it's not going to work. So let's see what we got. 66.5. Okay, that one's wrong. If it's on this screen for one var stat, it is definitely not right. The 67.5, I'm looking for it. If you're lucky, they're all on this screen and you can get rid of them. 67.5. Now, what about the 24? I'm looking. Nope, it's not on there. Those were. Next. Now, So I've got that done, right? So don't you have to find Sal minus your X mean, teacher closed the door, divide by the number of Dr. Peppers she drank? So we did a bunch of that through the catalog. So there it is. Sal minus your X mean, teacher closed the door, divide by the number of Dr. Peppers she drank. So let me see if I can help you remember where all the buttons are. I found a bunch of them in the catalog. So I'm going to go to second 0, which is catalog. I'm going to push the S button that's green. And I can tell you it's actually at the bottom. If you were smart, you'd push the T, but oh well. Here's the S, and you're going to scroll down till you find sum, because you need add. There it is. So you push sum. I need an A. That's absolute. It's under catalog again. It's first one. And then I need list 1. You should know where that is. I need a subtract sign. I need X with the minus on top. That's a variable, right? X is. So go to vars. This is a lot of stats, so you might want to push stats. There it is, 2. Close the door, divide, and there's another variable, n. Go back to vars. It's the statistics thing, and it's the first one. Ta-da! And if you don't remember all those steps, it doesn't matter. Pick something less than 10. Alrighty, next. Question 20. Joseph ran a 6-mile race in 48 minutes. Which graph has the slope that best represents his rate of speed? Well, maybe this is y equals mx plus b. Maybe so. And wouldn't this be the B where it crosses the y-axis? Yeah. The yellow B. True. If you notice, this one crosses at 0. This one crosses at 0. This one crosses at 0. And well, I think that one's wrong. Never mind. They all start at 0. That means they're proportional. If they're proportional, you could just do y divide by x. And that's all you have to do. Which one of those numbers is y? You got 6 and a 48. Now I can help you with that. Isn't this x? Minutes. Is that x? Minutes. Hey, that's an x. Minutes. Hey, that's an x. Minutes. I think x is minutes. And I think y is miles. So that's going to be 6 divided by 48. You know, if you go back to your formula chart, didn't y divided by x equal m? That's y divided by x. This is m. That means this number goes here. What's the phi going to be? They're all crossed at 0 on the y-axis. Probably 0. If you go to your lovely calculator and type in y equals 6 divided by 48, x plus 0, that's a 0, one of these graphs are going to match. Let's go see. So I typed mine in. There it is. 6 divided by 48, x plus 0. And there's my graph. It's really low. Now, in order to match this picture to this picture, you need to have the same window. Aren't they going to 10 to 10? That's 10, 10s, that's a 10s and 10s. So my windows are at the 10s. This picture is the right answer. So which one is it? Definitely not that one. Maybe, but I think it's kind of below. I don't think it, yeah, maybe. No. That definitely doesn't look like that one. And that doesn't look like that one. And I wasn't sure where this crossed right here. But if that one's wrong and that one's wrong and that one's wrong, you should pick G. That's what I would do. And backtrack. Do you remember how I did that again? So they had 6 miles, 48 minutes. We decided that x is minutes because everything had minutes on it. That's y divided by x. That's the formula for slope. So 6 divided by 48. That changes to m. The x stays x's. That's a plus. And I know that's a 0 because they all have 0. And it is constant. Next question. Question 21. You got some pentagon thing. Reflected. Hey. What you know about reflection? Doesn't that have a formula? Stop the video and write that down. I wrote mine down. Do they flip? The only one that flips is rotation. So there's no flipping. So it better be xy, xy. By the way, that makes this one wrong. And does the word, oh, I don't know where'd it go. Reflection start with a T? No. So the adding's wrong. So is this. There's any subtracting? No, it's out too. So that one's out. And then if this is negative, wouldn't this be the axis? And if this one's negative, isn't that one the axis? And which axis did it flip over? It says x-axis. So that would be this one, because there's an A with my x. Next video.